Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind Season 7, Episode 10. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. I had every intention of watching both videos back to back and maybe just putting out one video. I did not know Episode 10 would have so much content. So let's get into it. Hannah and Nick go to this studio to do their engagement photos. It always has to be a competition between these two. Oh my gosh, I have longer arms than you. Oh my gosh, I'm taller than you. Oh my god, Hannah! Stop! Like, this is not your homeboy. It's supposed to be your man. And if you don't respect him as your man, which later on in the episode that seems to be the case, then cut him off. Because this is getting weird. Actually, it's been weird. It's just getting weirder. All right, moving on. Marissa and Ramsey's. So, not gonna lie, I had to watch the scene twice, and I'm glad that it wasn't just me because one of my YouTuber friends were like, girl, what was this scene? Yeah, it was a little bit confusing, but what I'm understanding is they're still not on the same page about the kids' timeline. Now they're not on the same page about affection, and because of all of that, Ramsey's is having doubts.
What's on your mind?
Nothing.
So you're like terrible at hiding like the fact that
You're like not satisfied because I am a sick person.
sometimes you just like don't want to be touched or you don't want to be, which is again fine. I don't want to come off as if I'm just trying to have sex. Again,
And I feel like I've been affectionate with you. So it's like, but it's not fine because you're saying it's not fine.
So Ramses is a little bit frustrated with Marissa because she has been withholding affection. So he says that this is something that she does whenever she's like not in a good mood. Honestly, can't really blame her too much because I'm not trying to be touched either. When I'm upset or when I'm not at, the best, I just don't touch me right now, okay? However, she says that it's a mix of a few things. The commute back and forth is a lot for her. We heard in a previous episode that it's about 2 hours one way. So yeah, that's a lot. She also is on her period right now, which means she has PMS. She also says that she has vitamin D deficiency. So with all those things combined, I can see why she wouldn't want to give him some good loving. Now for me, he did not say this. This is my assumption. I feel like he's one of those guys who either wants to run red lights, if you know, you know, or still expects top, even if you're on your period. Like, that's just the impression that he was giving me this conversation. And because he wasn't getting that from her, he was frustrated. So she says, I have these ailments, I guess you could say, right now, and that's why I'm a little bit off. However, are you going to be like this if, God forbid, I actually do get properly sick in the future? Because there's a history of men who leave their partners when they get cancer or when they get some kind of illness because they're not getting that same kind of affection that they're used to getting. Are you going to be that kind of guy? And he's like, no, it's just, physical touch is just really important to me. Ramses. All the progression went out the window as soon as sex came up. The man reverted to who he truly is. It was like, there you are. There you are. But anyways, he's like, listen, I'm just having doubts. Not about you as a person, but if we work logistically. I think if anybody is supposed to pause and think, it's these two. Absolutely, it's these two. They argue on the fundamental things, which is a problem. But they also argue on the little stuff too, which makes me think like, outside of sex, which we're learning now is also an incompatibility that they have, why are y'all together? Like, why? The most thing they have in common is aesthetics. So they ended up having a conversation later and they said that they figured it out. She said that he now understands that once a month things are going to be a little bit wonky. I can only deduce that let me not give my assumptions. I'm wondering, he was previously married, right? So was his ex-wife on birth control the entire time? Like maybe she just never got her period or something? Because he's gotta know that once a month, almost like clockwork for most people, it's less hanky-panky. But okay, Ramses. Alex meets Tim's parents. Apparently Tim goes by Drake. They didn't really explain why, but yeah, the mama's going to refer to him as Drake. And she actually is in favor of this process. And even though Alex and Tim have their differences, she says, so do me and my husband, but it's been 40 years.
Drake he's really an awesome person. Drake's vulnerabilities can come out as, have you seen that in him at all? You have? Okay. Almost like a separation type of thing. He definitely gets that trait from me. Don't you feel like that? Was that hard for you to kind of get used to?
I'll admit, yeah.
You are willing to give and take. Love makes it work.
So Tim has a tendency to retreat whenever he's like in his head about stuff, which adds context to why he and Alex had their blow up on the honeymoon. If he was trying to leave the situation to make sure that things don't escalate and she's trying to keep him in the room, or she's trying to control the conversation by like covering his mouth and stuff, you could see why he would be very pissed off by that. Now, we still don't have more context on what the hell actually happened, so it's hard to really have an opinion on it, but it adds context to why Tim might have, I don't know what he did in that conversation, but it adds context to why he's upset, or why he was upset then, and why he will be upset later on, child. Oof, a mess. Anyways, I think I struggle to say this because of how the episode ended, but I do think on paper, these two make at least more sense than Ramsey's and Marissa. I think we can agree on that. On paper, these two make more sense. They do agree for the most part on the fundamental things, which is good. It's the little things that they argue about, although communication is one of their issues, and I don't think that that's a little thing. I think that's like a medium thing. Yeah. But like the mom said, she and her husband, she and Tim's dad, she and Big Tim have their issues too. It's been 40 years and they still are very different people. However, the core values and the love that they share is enough to keep them together. So she's in support of this relationship. She thinks they shouldn't make a mountain out of a molehill. Yeah, a mountain out of a molehill, because their little stuff is little things. If at the core you match, that's what matters most. We go back to Tyler and Ashley. These two are still sitting on the couch because they're still talking about this sperm donor situation. And I just want to say to all the people who were like, oh my gosh, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh my gosh, you guys don't know the situation. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Granted, I need to remind people that for me, the show is entertainment. So whether I actually was upset with this man, it really doesn't matter. This is a show. Who gives a damn at the end of the day? However, for the sake of vindication, I just want to say I was right.
I'm not taking it lightly that even that you're here talking.
I had a very close friend. Her and her wife wanted to have a baby. I thought that was God telling me, help someone else.
Do the kids know what you look like?
I don't think so.
I guess the only thing we can do is take it hour by hour.
So we'll try.
Yeah, we'll give it a try.
I have always thought that lying is the biggest issue out of this whole thing. Whether or not you were a legitimate sperm donor, whether or not it was a lesbian couple you were trying to help, whether or not, whatever. Why did you decide to withhold that information until after you proposed and on the cusp of your wedding? That is so manipulative. A lie by omission is still a lie, and that's going to be the theme. That's going to be the theme of this season, okay? A lot of people are omitting pertinent information. Now, all you people who are on the side of me, this is not a campaign to then go and harass this man, okay? This man has a real life. He's going through real things. Don't go on social media and be a weirdo, y'all, okay? We can come over here and kiki about the show, but like harassing people online is always weird. However, for the sake of vindication, I was right. And so were a lot of us. Like, the lie is the biggest thing out of all of it. And then he's going to continue to lie. When Ashley says, do the kids know what you look like? His response is, I don't think so. He's tapped. Tyler is tapped. He's absolutely insane. I was on the phone with my friend not too long ago, and we literally were like, Ashley seems like the type of woman who would just accept it if he would tell the truth. Just be honest. But at every corner, he wants to lie about something, whether it's not being transparent about it or blatantly lying like he just did in this conversation. No, man, there's no grace I give to this man. Again, don't go and harass him because that's weird behavior. But as far as the show is concerned, I'm sorry. Like, Tyler ain't that dude. Tyler is a liar. And he's lied enough that if I were Ashley, I wouldn't even meet him at an altar, let alone say yes when I'm there. Oh, Tyler, scary, scary man after God. Fear men. Taylor and Garrett have a date that, quite frankly, I wasn't really paying attention to, so we're just gonna skip over that one. Then Nick and Hannah have a rock climbing jungle gym type date thing, and they talk about whether or not Nick is ready for marriage. Because if you ask Hannah, Hannah's ready to go.
You think you're ready to get married in 2 weeks?
Yeah, getting both of their support, that was really important for me.
You didn't really answer my question though. Are you ready to get married in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I said yeah.
I want you to be an active listener, an active partner. I think it's all about initiative.
Sometimes I feel you do think I'm maybe sometimes a level below you.
I think you get treated like an equal and you start contributing like an equal.
I think that on paper, Hannah is more prepared for the logistics of marriage. When it comes to practicality, when it comes to actually interacting with a significant other, when it comes to respecting your partner, Hannah, you drop the ball at every point. Damn near. She sounds like a great candidate for marriage if you were simply reading a portfolio. But when you interact with her, if she doesn't respect you, she's gonna make it known. She literally said, I will treat you better if you measure up to what I feel like you are supposed to, the level that you're supposed to be at. Literally telling him, you're not worth my respect. If that's how you feel, why are you with him? Why are you with anyone? Girl, that's how you treat people in general. You only treat people with respect if you feel like they're on your level and therefore deserve respect. That's insane. To me, that's insane. And I've been trying to give her some grace, especially learning more about her story. But at the core, this woman is mean. She really is. And it does sound like life hasn't been too gracious to her. So she's hard on herself and hard on others. But respectfully, Nick doesn't deserve the belittling that she's been giving to him. Can he mature? Absolutely. Does he need a wake-up call? Absolutely. But the way she talks down to him, nah, it's not cool at all. And I'm glad that he finally spoke up and he was like, yes, I do want somebody who pushes me. However, you do talk down to me. You do belittle me. And I don't like that. And Hannah has the same thing too, because Nick has been saying this to other people, but he has yet, at least for me, I feel like he has yet to properly articulate that to Hannah. Hannah does the same thing. She said so many good things about Nick to Nick's mother. And of course, you don't want to badmouth somebody's kid to their face. But I'm like, Nick needs to hear these things. He needs to hear these things. Both of them say a lot of stuff to other people when they should be having the conversation with each other. Alex and Tim have another altercation that we didn't get to see. But what I'm gathering is that Alex had a shutdown moment and Tim took it personal. And now they're not seeing eye to eye.
Let me know when you're ready to talk.
Because I've been eating all day.
I would rather talk to you intently, yes. My parents drove up here 10 hours. As soon as the cameras cut, you decided to go to sleep at the first opportunity. That's just not a choice that I would ever make.
Okay. If it really meant that to you, I would have stayed up. You could have explained, hey, I didn't like that you fell asleep while my parents were there.
Well, can I tell my truth?
Go ahead.
And then you speak yours?
Go ahead.
The answer between you and I, for me, is no.
Is your mind made up?
That is what I said, yes.
Okay.
And I'm glad we can at least agree that I don't ever want to see you again. This was nice. I wish you the best of luck.
I was wondering when strict Tim was going to return. I was wondering, I'm like, Tim is too strict to be this easygoing guy he's been showing himself to be in the last few episodes, but he's back. He is back. So what I understand is that Alex felt overwhelmed the day of meeting Tim's parents. And so Tim wanted them to spend more time together, but she decided to sleep. And this is an issue that they had on the honeymoon too, because after that couple's mixer, she took a shower and wanted to go to sleep. And he's like, bruh, I'm trying to spend more time with you. Alex says she has an issue with Tim internalizing things and dealing with it on his own, retreating and dealing with it on his own instead of addressing it, because then he brings it up all at once. And she's like, how was I supposed to know this was a problem if you didn't say anything? Honestly, I hear that. It's good that Tim wants to take his time to process on his own, but you're still in the getting to know each other phase, truly. Although you might think you know each other in the pods, like the pods is a false sense of reality because you speak so much with this person and you truly believe like you believe that nobody knows you like they do because you've told them so much. That's not true. Like seeing how someone moves in real life is the true testament of whether you know them or not. Because they can say whatever they want to say. Seeing it is different. And they're seeing now that on the outside, Tim does internalize a lot of things. And Alex maybe does want to retreat whenever she's overstimulated. And Tim's response is, there's been times when I've been overwhelmed too, but I still show up for you. But you don't do that for me, which is valid. But you've got to say that when it's happening. Like, I don't feel like it's fair to hold that in and then throw it in her face when it's convenient for you. At least that's my stance on that. This man point blank says to her, I would say no at the altar right now. And matter of fact, I actually am going to say no now. And I don't want to see you ever again. I think that, what do I think? Okay, think of your words. I think on this, I do side with Alex because you met my father. You shook his hand and looked him in the eye and said, I'm going to do right by your daughter. I'm going to marry her. You made a promise to my father. And something as simple as a miscommunication, maybe a few miscommunications, is going to lead you to say, I never want to see you again. To me, that's wild. So have you been feeling this way and you've just been harboring these feelings? What's really the deal here, sir? Because they had a miscommunication even before. Maybe you should have held off and been like, I'm not ready for that conversation with your dad yet because there's still things that I want to iron out. If you look my father in his eyes and you shake his hand, how dare you come back and tell me I never want to see you again? I would be so pissed off. That's not to say that Alice doesn't have her pitfalls, because now this is a reach. We don't know this, right? But if I'm to compare her to me, I do struggle with mental health issues. I'm usually prone to be depressed. And when I am, I sleep a lot. I have a messy apartment, not even to her level, which is what makes me think, maybe you and I got the same thing. So I do think that maybe there's a way that she can articulate, like, listen, when I'm in this space, this is what's going on in my head. This is how you can help me as a partner. Like, maybe it could be that. But again, she never said that. This is me assuming. So don't go and run with that, okay? I do think that they both could communicate their mental headspace better. Like, when he's in a mood because of how she's acting, he should articulate that. And if she's feeling overstimulated, she can articulate that. Like, Anyways, here we are now. They say they don't want to see each other ever again, so they're about to see each other in the next scene. So after we have an Amazon commercial, basically, all the couples are getting ready to go to this like Great Gatsby mixer thing where they bring back the old pod people and whatever. Before they arrive, Taylor and Garrett have a little tiff, and apparently it revolves around an ex that's been texting Garrett.
I just want to make it incredibly clear. You're just shutting it down.
Yeah.
I'm engaged.
Yeah.
If other women from your past are talking to you,
shut it down.
Shut it down.
Easy.
Don't just like leave
Easy.
them on red.
It obviously didn't mean anything. Like, I don't feel any sort of way. She isn't anything to me anymore.
I know, but it's just,
past.
you're gonna be married in like a week. I don't want to say it's okay right now because that just like wouldn't be
I understand.
honest. Hate being mad at you.
I hate you being mad at me. You look fucking great though.
Shut up.
So initially, I thought Taylor was prepping Garrett for, you know, when they meet and the guy often tends to be the one who shows his ass in front of somebody who he used to connect with. Like, I thought that she was prepping him for that. Like, hey, if you see somebody who you used to talk to, shut it down. Don't entertain nothing. But no, it's an ex. somebody he had a full-blown relationship with, who texted him. Now, initially, Garrett said, I didn't even respond. So she's like, okay, but you need to be able to like just shut things down. It's not just leave it on red, because that also is ambiguous. You say, hey, I'm engaged. Don't be doing all that, you know? And I hear her. I definitely do hear her. I think sometimes the cognitive dissonance that some people have is the fact that you could so easily get married and be single again on this show. So some people see the engaged stage as still just dating. And it's like, but no, you're legitimately engaged. Because at the end of this, you will legally be married, right? So yeah, some people still entertain people on the side. Some people, I don't know what their thought is going into the show, but I side with Taylor. You're engaged. Act like you're engaged. It was so funny to see Taylor go from that, being like, I don't like being mad at you, shut up, to then, hey everybody, hi. You gotta plaster on that smile to look like a united front, okay? Okay? Plenty of couples know that move, okay? Probably doing that move later on today, all right? A couple who can't present as a united front is Tim, and Alex. As we know, he doesn't want to see her face ever again. So they arrived separately. Now, we don't actually see them interact here. So I wonder, are they going to the next episode or something? Like, nothing happened. They do not look at each other. They do not talk to each other. Nothing. So she's here talking about how frustrated she is, but that's not even the biggest drama. Ashley, of course, has the freaking what's a game where you slap someone down? She's got the big joker.
I'm not mad that he wanted to end things. Shook my father's hand and looked him in the eye and said, I want to marry your daughter.
Hope they're not talking about my shit.
What's your shit?
Ashley called me.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you in the pod.
No.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He donated sperm a few years ago. Why would you wait in this instance until I feel like this to tell me this?
You see how the first question that the women asked was whether or not he said this in the pods. It seems like everybody is aware of the fact that the time to announce something like this would have been in the pods. And Tyler knows that too. Don't let Tyler's little puppy dog eyes fool you. The man knows that he should have said this before he proposed, but he also knew it would diminish his chances of somebody saying yes to his proposal. So he had to withhold that information. I told this story, but I'm going to tell it again. And if you don't like hearing about my personal life, you might as well skip until the next 3 minutes or something. The guy that I was dating last month, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned him during Love is Blind. If I haven't, this is your first time hearing about him. We had been talking for about a month or so. And he decided that after he had bought his ticket to come and see me would be the time to tell me that he has a child, a 3-year-old. At that. And I'm not opposed to people having kids, but a 3-year-old that I didn't know about for a month, when kids has come up plenty of times, yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. And I told him point blank, that's manipulative. And he had this whole story as to why he didn't want to say it before and the safety of the child and whatever. And I feel like all of that is valid. However, you are taking away my choice to be in this situation. You're taking that decision away from me, and that's manipulative. And you're going to do it after you've already bought your ticket to come. You know the kind of person that I am. I'm not going to just turn you away like that. That's manipulative. That's deliberate. Tyler's doing the same shit. Tyler's doing the same thing. Like, I'm so sorry. A lie by omission is still a lie. Still a lie. Don't be fooled by these people. They know what they're doing. And this is why when I'm talking to somebody, I tell them I value transparency more than I value honesty. Because if I ask you and then you tell me the truth, okay, you're being honest. But I would like to not even have to ask you. I would like for you to be forthright with information without me having to chase that information. Because I might not even think to ask certain things. I might not think like, should I ask if an ex texted you? Should I ask if you've ever donated sperm to your friends? Like, some things are not gonna come up naturally like that. So for you to be with me, I need you to be transparent and just give up that information. And then you decide, and then I decide if I want to accept that. That is my decision. Monica arrives and she tells the girls that she had a talk with the Freaky Frog. And at the end of the day, the Freaky Frog is a good guy. So they're on good terms. Okay, hunky-dory, great. Then Garrett and Taylor are talking to Ashley and Tyler. And this is where we get more information on this whole text thing.
She texted me last night and...
Did you say anything back?
No, I just lied to her.
You responded?
I'm sorry.
Let me see your phone. What did you say?
I texted her back and just said, I met someone, I'm engaged, and hope you have a great life.
You told me an hour ago that you only liked the message.
Yeah, I didn't just, no, I wrote a response.
This is changing. It's just crazy.
Hey. He was around Tyler and forgot where the fuck he was and started telling all of the truth.
Yet again, transparency. Transparency. Okay, your ex texted you. That's great. You knew you responded. You knew you responded. But you're gonna say, oh, I didn't think that was, I didn't even think that was worth saying. I didn't even think that was, you're not being transparent. Quite frankly, you're not even being honest. You're not even being honest at this point. That's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie, Garrett. And the thing that sucks is, on the surface, it looks like a small thing. And I'm sure some people are going to look at Taylor like she's overreacting. But in this process, all you have is someone's word. You have to take their word for things because you don't have the luxury of seeing them in action. You have this short amount of time to compound a lot of things and to decide if you want to marry them. So their word has to be true. And no matter how small it is, it can break the trust because I trusted things you were saying. Come to find out, you weren't telling me the truth. Taylor, girl, I hear you, girl. Not enough to say oh, let's shut it down. But I hear you, sis. I truly do. And also, how are you now going to have new details now that you're sitting in front of your boys? And of course, it's going to be Tyler, of all people, who you want to confide in because that man is all too familiar with omission. So the pod rejects arrive, and I gotta say, Marissa? People can learn from Marissa because up until this point, I don't think anyone has handled this the way that she has.
We both looked at each other I know that person. Y'all have a conversation. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe.
So was I what you expected to look like?
No. Oh. Short and tiny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm glad over-delivered there.
One day I'd be like, oh, it's Rams. And the next day I'd be like, it's Bowden.
We're so different. And I was like, okay, man.
Yeah.
No.
In terms of
our personalities, we're very different.
Yeah.
He's a friend. No doubts about my relationship with Ramses.
Looking back at some of the closure conversations that people feel like they need to have. Listen, closure for a lot of people is a form of control. They want to be the one who has the last laugh, who has the last word. It's irrelevant. If the relationship is dead anyways, who cares who had the last word? Move on with your life. All right. But anyways, a lot of these closure conversations seem a lot more scandalous because the partner doesn't know what's being said. So she's saying all these things in the presence of Ramsey's because for her, she just sees Bowden as a friend. There is nothing going on with Bowden. She don't want Bowden, even though Bowden on paper might be the better option for her at this point. But she's like, Ramsey's can be here. Who cares? It's not a big deal. I think a lot more couples, especially the couples who claim that there's no residual feelings for that other person, they should have the conversation with their partner. Just have your partner right there so there's nothing left to the imagination. Somebody who's not handling things very great is Hannah. Hannah opens up about the fact that Nikki D should just be called Nikki because the D ain't giving.
And then it's like I have to go to other tools. I gotta grab a toy.
He's very jealous of my vibrator. People that I've had sex with, we've been very sexually explorative. Nick's not like that. Things gross him out. Like eating pussy is just not what he thinks about. It's almost like it's like an 18-year-old sexualness. Like woman needs pleasure as much as me.
Absolutely.
Right? And fix sex that maybe isn't the best. You communicate.
Why would you have this conversation when cameras are around? The conversation was valid. Her concerns were valid. But why would you have this conversation with people in earshot and with the cameras running you know how people feel about their sex game? Especially men. Men tend to feel, hey, you're bruising my ego when you talk about their sex game. Girl, this is not the time. But let's get into what she said. She said that Nick isn't the person to stop and ask if their partner is feeling pleasure, if their partner has also climaxed. He's just not that guy. She has to give him instructions, as we know, outside of the bedroom and now also inside of the bedroom. And some stuff he just doesn't like to do. Now, I will give him grace on the whole eat in the box thing. Not everybody likes to eat the box. Honestly, I feel like you're missing out. But, not from the... Wait. I don't need box. All I'm saying is your partner might very well enjoy it. I actually know somebody who doesn't enjoy it, like receiving. But here's my rule. If you want me to give, I better be receiving. And that story ends there. But anyways, she says that he has like a high school mentality when it comes to sex. And yeah, he's kind of a selfish lover, which, that's rough. That is rough. Like at this point with Hannah, I'm just like, girl, what? Find somebody else. Find somebody else. He doesn't match you financially. He doesn't match you in terms of consideration in the home. And now consideration on the bedroom is lackluster. Like, girl, just leave him. Watch them get married. Watch them get married. So I was thinking, this is another example of Hannah having a grievance with Nick, but not bringing it up. Well, I'm sure they've talked about it, but I feel like keep that there. Keep that with him. There's no need to express that. Well, I'm lying. I'm a liar. Because me and my friends definitely do talk. Yeah, I'm a liar. But not in front of the cameras, because now we all know, and it's, But anyways, somebody who doesn't struggle to express their feelings to Nick and about Nick is Katie. Katie already told Hannah to her face, ooh, he looks even better in person. Girl, if you don't back up.
Let them have a moment. But Katie looks like she's lining up, and I'm like, are you really my friend, Katie?
That is what I date in the real world. The football player, like the athlete, right? Like, this is the guy you would date in the real world, and this is why you're 35 and single.
I was really feeling you.
You can't help when you were born. I can't help when I was born.
So why can't you accept that that's your type and you just haven't met the right guy? If that's your type, that's your type.
Yeah.
Right? You can't hold that against the next person you meet.
It is so funny how Hannah thought Nick was delusional regarding his appearance, whereas Katie, she thinks he's all that and then some. I said, oh, okay. Katie is in her cougar bag, okay? She wants to go for the younger man. She said, listen, age ain't nothing but a number. You are my cup of tea, okay? She wants herself some Nikki D. Sans the D, girl, because, anyways. But then she goes on to say that why she dropped him was because he was immature, and she would rather he lead with just who he genuinely is instead of him trying to prove that he's a smooth and suave guy. And I agree. I think that's where Nick found a lot of his trouble. A lot of the women thought that he was a player because he was trying to be Mr. Casanova. And it's like, if you are that guy, okay, fine. But he has a lot of insecurities, and it seems that he's masking that with this persona that he's got it all together. He's that guy. Sure, go ahead and believe that, but be true to yourself as well, I was thinking, Katie, you're straddling the line here because there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of hee hee ha ha hee 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 ha ha. There was a lot. I was like, I don't know. Hannah's supposed to be your friend. It's not giving friend, but she encourages him to just, lead with his kind heart and lead with the good characteristics instead of putting on a front, because ultimately it does him a disservice. Then the episode ends with Taylor confronting Garrett because in the last one, she had to walk away since she heard that new information. In this conversation, she's just basically telling him, I trusted your word. And it takes a lot for me to be honest with people wholeheartedly. And I was. And it hurts me that you weren't.
You live it. I just liked the message and I ignored it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said because it was more about like this thing happened. I didn't pause to think, let me tell you like
exactly what happened?
Word for word. No,
the whole thing is that it was a response. You said you just liked it.
I didn't think there was a difference there. The point is I should have told you those things. I should have told you.
You could have done this like
I should have done
an hour
it.
ago.
I should have.
Garrett says that he thinks this is an issue of semantics. Garrett, how is this an issue of semantics? Either you responded or you didn't. Where I would hear him out is if he just liked the text and left it there. But even the liking of the text, like why are you liking the text? Why are you liking the text? But he liked the text and he responded. That's a clear response. He was like, I didn't think it really mattered whether I said something or I didn't. Like, it's just semantics. I mean, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. Just admit that you took a wrong step. I feel like she would respect you more if you were just, with a lot of these people, I feel like their partner would just respect them more if they were upfront. Just be honest. and run the risk of whatever consequence comes from being honest, but at least you were honest, okay? Yes, you talked about the text, but you responded to your ex. And a part of me wonders, is there a twinge of insecurity because we know that Garrett's exes are all white women, and she is a half white woman. So I've seen some reviewers say that she's white passing. For me, you could tell that she's Asian. You could tell. So I wonder, she didn't say this is me assuming, I wonder if there's a twinge of like, not only are you talking to an ex, but I know that I don't fit your typical type. She did point out that an insecurity she does have is that she's been cheated on in the past. So once she starts to pick up on lies, that insecurity starts to creep back up. And so like, am I good enough? Are you wishing for that old thing back? Are you wishing for what you're used to again? Like I can see why she's kind of like spiraling right now. And this is on the heels of meeting her mom and her dad, even though we won't see the dad, but like, you're about to meet my parents. We're about to fly across country. Like, bruh, come on now. It's a small thing. It is a small thing. But I think, like I said earlier, your word is bond at this point in this process. So if I can't trust your word, what can I trust? We'll see what happens in the next episode. I want to see if it truly is the end between Tim and Alex. How sad. Is it sad? Maybe it's for the best. Because with them, it does low-key feel like it's an explosion waiting to happen. So yeah, maybe for the best. Anyways, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. No spoilers in the chat, please and thank you. And I'll see you in the next one.